Congratulations, you have got the job. The excitement is real. Your family is happy, friends are congratulating you. You have mentally resigned from your current employer. Then comes an email. Please sign the attached offer letter. What do? Well, most people spend more time reading the menu in a restaurant than reading the document that may govern the next 5 or 10 years of their professional life. And that could be one of the biggest mistakes of their career. Well, I'm Hemant Batra, and today we are discussing something every professional, executive, doctor, engineer, manager, and CXO must know before signing an employment offer. Employment contracts are no longer 1 or 2 pages. You would have noticed that. Today they routinely run into 10, 20, or even 50 pages. Have you thought why? Because employers have become significantly more sophisticated in protecting their business. And candidates often become significantly less careful once they hear one word: selected. Yes. According to global workplace research, employment disputes arising from restrictive covenants, confidentiality obligations, intellectual property ownership, and termination issues have increased steadily over the last decade as knowledge-based industries continue to expand. Employment litigation involving senior executives is now a multi-billion-dollar legal market worldwide. Yes, India is witnessing the same trend, as I notice, with the country's rapid growth in technology, healthcare, consulting, manufacturing, and startups. Executive employment contracts have become increasingly detailed. Not only increasingly detailed, commercially driven, and even legally complex. And what is the result? Well, professionals are accepting obligations which they don't fully understand. Let me share today 12 clauses that should immediately make you pause before signing any employment offer or letter. Number 1, future employment agreement. If the offer letter says that the company may later ask you to sign another employment agreement which will override the current offer, stop. You have to stop. Because you may be committing yourself without even knowing the final terms of your employment. Number 2, undefined salary structure. Don't celebrate a large CTC. Yes, ask one question. How much is fixed? How much is variable? Yes, there is a hidden truth. How much depends entirely on management discretion. See that. CTC and take-home salary are often very different conversations. Moving on to number 3, aggressive performance targets. Yes, targets are normal. But if your continued employment compensation or designation depends entirely upon ambitious revenue targets, I would advise you to ask yourself another question. Can you control market conditions? Can you? Can you control pricing? Can you control product quality? Can you control marketing budgets? Can you control customer decisions? If not, why should your job depend entirely upon the outcome? Why? Number 4, the employer's sole discretion. Whenever you read words like sole discretion, absolute discretion, or as decided by the company, I would advise you, slow down. Those words often transfer negotiating power from the employee to the employer. Number 5, the attractive equity promise. Many offers letters mention ESOPs, sweat equity, or stock options. But unless there is a definite grant, a vesting schedule, and clear documentation, you don't actually own anything. Hope is not equity. Number 6, intellectual property. You have to be careful here. If you have spent 20 years developing your own training material, your own research, your own presentations, professional methodologies, or educational content, ensure the contract clearly protects everything which you created before joining the new employer. Otherwise, ownership disputes are most likely to arise later. Number 7, confidentiality. Perfectly reasonable. It's a reasonable clause. But confidentiality should not become an excuse to prevent you from using your own knowledge, your own skills, and experience after leaving. Number 8, moonlighting and outside activities. Many contracts today prohibit outside work. I would say that's fair enough. But what about teaching as an area of interest? What about writing books? What about speaking at conferences? What about professional associations? What about your hobbies? Those creative hobbies, they should be ideally specifically permitted. Number 9, non solicitation. Be careful if you are joining because of your personal relationships in the industry. If you have known customers, let's say for 20 years before joining the new company, make sure those relationships remain yours. Yes. Number 10, non-dealing clauses. They are very important and significant. Some employers don't stop at preventing solicitation. Yes, they prohibit you from doing business with customers you served during employment. That's very one-sided and arbitrary. That's a much wider restriction. Number 11, non-circumvention. I would here advise you to watch for vague expressions like business opportunities, strategic relationships, or future prospects. Those terms are often undefined. Vague drafting creates, in my view, future disputes. Most future disputes are created by vague drafting. And finally, termination. Always ask if the company terminates me without cause. What happens then? Is there a separation or a severance compensation? Will my bonus be paid? What happens to my ESOPs? Will I receive notice pay? If the contract answers every question for the employer, but none for you, you already know who negotiated the document. So, here is the most important lesson from this podcast talk. An employment contract is not a loyalty test. Negotiating a contract professionally does not make you difficult. Never think in those terms. It actually makes you more responsible. I would press here that you must remember companies negotiate commercial agreements worth billions of dollars, worth crores of rupees. Why should the most important commercial agreement of your own career receive less attention? Why? Before signing any executive employment offer, read, question, negotiate, clarify, and if necessary, seek independent legal advice. Consult your friends, acquaintances. Because the cheapest legal opinion is always the one you obtain before signing, not after a dispute begins. If you found this lesson useful, I would ask you to also ponder that the cost of prevention is always less than the cost of cure. The offer letter is not merely an invitation to join a company. It is a legal document that may shape your career long after your employment ends. Yes, long after your employment ends. Thank you so much. I am closing today's episode by wishing you all the best and a great weekend ahead. I will see you soon with my next episode, probably early next week. Until then, good luck, goodbye, and God bless.